This is OXDF looking at the Frost Tower website checkup. We're going to investigate the Frost Tower website. They give us the source code here. The goal is to find Jack Frost's to-do list, and that's basically it. So let's jump in. I've got in my VM here, I've got Jack Frost Tower website here. There's really not much going on. I can enter an email, and it says thank you. Nothing too exciting there. So normally if I was coming in here blind and I didn't have the source, I would look at things like running GoBuster, PharaohBuster against it to look for paths. Maybe doing a little bit more playing with this, but since I got the source, I'm going to come over here. So they started me off with this zip file. It dzipped to this directory, so I can head in. And I've got a Node.js server here. LS custom modules. Let's see what's in there. So there's a actually going to check that out first. I don't remember exactly what that is. Okay, so this is just what's handling the connection to the database. So no password necessary, or else it's just not in this backup. But either way, I don't have a password. Otherwise, it just looks like MySQL. That's fine. Vim, I wonder what is in the SQL directory. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Just a single file. Okay, so now I can start to get a feel for what the database looks like. There's a unique contact table, a users table, an emails table. I can't assume there could be other tables left out, but at least if I get to these tables and I need to know, like if I get to an SQL injection, it can be useful to know exactly how many columns I'm pulling from. So I could typically if I have an SQL injection, I could get that by enumerating the database. But if I've already got it sitting here, that'll be nice to have. What else do I have around here? So ls web page. This is going to be a bunch of templates, I bet. And there's a surprising number of them for a page that has nothing in it so far. So let's open up server.js. That's clearly going to be the meat of things. All right, there's a bunch of requirements here. I skip down. I always like to start to look at. So here's the coming soon page I saw already. It's interesting that it is setting a session. I wonder if I can see that in here in the developer tools under probably. So that is a session here. A JavaScript, a Node.js sessions like this. The cookie is just a value. It doesn't actually contain, it's just an identifier. It doesn't contain the information. The information is stored server side. So unlike a Java Web Token or other things like that, where you actually are you're putting the data in there and signing it so it can't be tampered with. This is just literally some kind of identifier that the server then can look in its tables and figure out what it wants to know about me. So not really worth messing with that cookie. So there is another thing here, test site. This is interesting. It takes a get and a post. Let's jump over here. We can kind of do this in parallel. Check this out. And so there's some stuff in here. Nothing really clickable. More floors, yeah. All right, dangerously decadent. About us, it's still down there. Services down there. Contact us. There's a contact us form. That's kind of neat. oxdf@aol.com. Phone, country. Submit that. Data is saved to database. Okay. Is that where I'm posting right there? Did I post that to test site? No, that's the contact. Interesting. If test site gets a post request, it will try to make a query here. It does escape. There's no SQL injection there. That's fine. Okay. Maybe something's posting there somewhere. I'm not sure. We'll keep going here for a second. Here's the contact form I just looked at. And that looks, let's see, so we're posting there. Oh, this is the GET request here. We're just pulling, okay, we're just pulling the form. It's interesting. What is it looking up here? Selecting contact, rendering the contact us. I'm not sure what it's actually doing with this response. My JavaScript is not the greatest here, so you're learning from me. Here's the post though, where we are doing a query. If the email already exists, it'll show up here. It'll pop up and say that. Otherwise, it inserts into the database, and that it sends an email. Well, it doesn't actually send the email, but it's commented out. It would send the email to the admin. All right. All right. This is interesting. Slash detail. Let's see what that does. Cannot get slash detail 1, so it was looking for an ID, and it's looking now. It's trying to redirect me to login. You can see up here request.session, if session unique ID, which I don't have yet because I'm not logged in, presumably. Do all this stuff, else redirect to login. Okay. Edit ID, if session unique ID, else redirect to login. Post there, same thing. All right, so there's delete ID, same thing, have to be authenticated or else redirect to login. Search, if session unique ID, lots of stuff, else redirect to login. Search, if session unique ID. So clearly I need to get logged in. Export needs a login. Apt get login, useful. So if I post to login, let's see if there's any kind of bypass here. There's not going to be, so there's not an SQL injection here because they're building it, even though they're building it with a string, they're using the escape function on the username to weed that out, so that's fine. They're doing the username, then for each of those, they're gonna decrypt the password and compare them, and if it matches, it's gonna set all my session stuff. Session.uniqueID gets set to request.username. And then either way, it redirects to redirect, or redirect. I wonder what redirect is. Here, asking you shall receive. Redirect is just going to say, if I'm logged in, go to dashboard. If I'm not logged in, it's going to say invalid and return to login. Okay. Log out is going to just redirect to concat. Oh, it's going to destroy the session and redirect. Dashboard, need to be logged in. Worry about that in a little bit. Add user, need to be logged in. Add user, need to be logged in. User list. So I need to figure out how to get logged in is really what I'm learning here. So going through here, and really I'm just looking at all the different paths that the thing is using. Forgot pass, that could be interesting. Is it actually going to send an email? But so the email is actually turned off, so it doesn't actually do it. It sets a token in the database, but then it doesn't send the email. And then it says, we sent the instructions to your inbox, but because it doesn't actually send it, that's not super useful. Forgot pass, I can put that back in. Is there anything obvious in here? No, the token has to be what they sent me, but they didn't send it, so it's gonna be really hard to get it. That's really the end. So we got to figure out how to get logged in. And there were some hints in here to look at the, when they said looking at, the hints, where's my, I'll get logged out. Just come over here real quick and log back in. Okay. Come over here and let's get my hints. We're on 12, I think. There's only one here. Yes, tremendously valuable. And they're really telling us. Oh man, I didn't mean to look at it in this window. Let's open it in a new window. 12, tremendously valuable. They're telling us to look at expressed session and how the sessions are doing work. So I think we should look at that. The thing that happens here is what matters is all of these ones. There's a pattern here at the top of every one. We get set session to request.session, and we check for session.uniqueID. So the question I really have is session.uniqueID space equals. Okay, it's set here, but that's in a. So where is it set is what I'm looking for here, and so it's set here, but I already had to be logged in to get here. Same with this. What function is this in? I'm already logged in at this point. What is this? So this is interesting here. And this is okay. So when I do a post contact here, I set all these variables to stuff. I make a database query. If there's some sort of error in the query, I get a 500. Else, if row length is greater than 1, which means the email already exists, for some reason, I'm setting my session.uniqueID to email. So it almost looks like if I make this query like this, I will get in. Let's try that. So we come in here. Where were we? We were going to. So first of all, the thing we want to try to get to for now, I think, is dashboard, and that I need to log in. So if we go back here to test site, contact us, and OXDF. My email was oxdf@aol.com. Put in some nines. Pick a don't even need a country. Email already exists. So in theory, I just set my session.unique ID. And so now if we go to dashboard, we're in. So that's a weird bypass there that lets us just by viewing the source and seeing where the different pieces of the session get set, I can actually get myself logged in effectively. So I guess that's cool. So where are we going to go next? We need to now figure out, we still need to figure out what we're going to try to exploit within here. If I look around some, there is a place where, I noticed it earlier, let's see, where's the detail one here? There's a place here where I'm passing in this m.raw. What is m? That's going to be not trivial to find. Let's see up the top, I bet. Oh, MySQL. Okay. Okay. And so if my length, what this is basically doing is, if the ID has a comma in it, it's going to split on it, and it's going to then loop over them, adding in escaped values, but it's going to and generate this string. But the commas are going to basically split it into a bunch of things. So I have 11.23.44. Should probably vim this. 11, 30, 23, 34, like that. It's going to come in here and it's going to do select star from unique contact where ID equals, it's going to say 11 space or ID equals 23 or ID equals 34, and then it's going to put a question mark. And I don't think that's what it intends to do, because it now allows me to do SQL injection in here. Even when it does the request parameter, it almost looks going to be broken. Request member is going to become 0. Yeah, so that's building a string from text, and that seems dangerous. The escape will help if I'm trying to get rid of, like, I'm trying to use quote marks to break the string, but I'm not using quote marks here because I just have ID. So that's fine. The real challenge is we're not going to be able to use anything that has a comma in it. So like when we start trying, because if we have a comma, it's going to get split up, removed, and replaced with an or space or ID equals. So that's interesting there. We could try. Let's see if we can do this. So let's try detail 119, detail 1. What do I do? Comma 1. Do I get two things? I do. Cool. So what happens if I do space or look up, like, what's a SQL sleep? Well, I don't know if that's going to work. What we're really going to do here is we're going to end up doing a union injection. And the challenge here is going to be to figure out how do I do a union injection without comma. And it just so happens when you Google this, the first one that comes up is this blog post here that talks about exactly this. And it says, so I wanted to do union blah, 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 blah. but the WAF intercepts our commas, and so it's unusable. The bypass is this right here. So union select 1, 2, 3 is the same as union select star from, and then select 1A, select 2B, select 3C. I don't quite understand what the A, B, and C are there. I think they might be like column labels, but at the end of the day, it gives me what I want. The other thing that's useful here is we know what table we're hitting. So when we're hitting the details, we can come up here and we are hitting unique contact. So if we go into, oops, I'm out of that directory. Cross tower, I think I called it. Yep, CD there. If we vim SQL, this unique contact has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. So we can do, we're going to want to build a query that looks like what we were just looking at here. Union select like this. Except for we need to get up to 7 and not just 1. So do this, union select star from select 1, 2, 3. So we're just going to keep doing this. Paste that there, needs a space, and this becomes 4D. Copy E5, paste F6, paste G7. So if this works, I should see these two items as well as a third item with the various options here. It did not quite work here. So let's see what we got. Oh, let's see. After this, let's add a comment to end the line. There we go. It did work. So we've got a union injection here. Let's make these invalid. Can I get rid of this entirely? I don't know if this is going to work. No, that doesn't work because I have to break into that section where I have commas. If I put in 1 twice, that goes there. What if I give it -1? Yeah, sweet. So now I've just got my, so these are both going to return nothing, but now I've got or they find nothing, but I've got my one in here. And so I can see whatever I put here doesn't show up. It's probably the ID. When I select 2, that shows up as the title. We can see, can I do something like user? No, it does not like that. Okay, we can't do user. What about if we want to do something like, well, so we know there's a users table, right? Let's find out what that looks like. Users table name. Try that. Where did I go here? Select name from users. Let's come back here because that will return a bunch of rows. And I want to just get one, so I'll do group concat, and that should put all the names in the table together. Looks like there's 2 rows in the users table. There's super admin and there's admin. I could switch that from name to email, for example, and now I get root at localhost, admin at localhost. So we've definitely got SQL injection. The next thing we need to look for is let's get the database names. So let's use 3 here. So we're going to select group, same thing as before, concat. And what we're going to group concat is going to be schema name from information underscore schema dot schemata dot schemata. So there are only 2 databases in this database, information schema and in contact. So we're probably going to focus on the in contact one. We can now, we'll just keep moving down the list here. We could overwrite too, but let's just keep our information. Now we can do the same thing and do group concat, and this time we'll get table name from information schema dot, and this time it's, I believe, tables. Sweet. Oh, okay, that returned a lot of tables. That's because information schema just has a ton of stuff in it. So let's come down here and we'll do information schema dot tables where table name, no, where table schema, I think it was. Is it table? I should probably look this up. I'm trying to do it from memory. Maybe it's just where table schema equals in contact, like that. See if that works. Ooh, that worked. This is we're seeing my SQL injection memory, how well it does here. So we've looked and we found that there's two databases in the database. We're interested in the in contact table. The in contact table has 4 tables: users, to do, emails, and unique contacts. We didn't even need to look at. We knew the name of the database from here, but we only knew about 3 of these tables: unique contact, users, and emails. And the prompt has us looking for Jack's to-do list. So to-do is definitely where we're going to be focused. Let's go down here and pick on 5. So what we need now is we need to know the column names in to-do, and we don't have that from our backup data. So we're going to have to hit up information schema yet again. So we'll do another group concat, and this time we're going to put in column name from, need a space, from information schema dot columns, I believe it is, where table name equals to do. Okay, there are 3 columns in this table. They are ID, note, and completed. Cool. So this is all very good so far. I'm gonna actually go back. I'm gonna grab this, put it in here, and start over here, because now I'm gonna start hitting this table. So back to let's leave 2 alone. Let's come down here. I'm gonna go, actually, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna go backwards till I got my numbers again. There we go, got my numbers again. Let's come here, and so for 2, we have ID, note, and completed. So 2, let's do 2, 3, and 4. We're going to select ID from to do. For 3, we're going to select note from to do. And for 4, we're going to select completed from to do. And this is actually kind of cool because they all return the same number of values. We're getting each one individually here. Oh no, we're not. We're getting the same one over and over again. What the heck are we getting? I don't like this. I'm gonna go back to my group. I meant to group cat these. I didn't expect this to work. Let's just do it this way. Group concat. There probably is a way to like organize my query with a series of like fancy joins so that it all comes together and that I can produce a block here per to do item, but that is beyond my SQL knowledge. We're just going to group concat all this stuff together so that we get it all in one line. And completed group. And it's going to require a little bit on my part to then figure out what things pair together, but we can handle that. They'll all be in the same order. Internal server error. Okay. Group concat ID, group concat note. Group concat. Sweet. Okay. So, we now have, I put this, so here's IDs. There's 9 rows in the table, IDs 1 through 9. The first 3 of them are completed, the other ones are not. So step 1, buy up all the land around Santa's castle. Step 2, build a bigger and more majestic tower next to Santa. Completed. 3, erode Santa's influence at the North Pole via Frostfest, the greatest con in history. Okay. 4, dishearten Santa's elves and encourage defection to our cause. 5, to steal his sleigh technology and build a competing way better Frosty present delivery vehicle. 6, undermine the ability to deliver presents on 12/4 through elf stash shortages, technology glitches, and assorted mayhem. Force Santa to cancel Christmas. Save the day by delivering Frosty presents using merch from the gift shop worldwide so the world sees that Frost saved the seasons. Wahaha. With Santa defeated, offer him a job as a clerk in the Frost Tower gift shop so you can keep an eye on him. Actually, I haven't found the gift shop yet. I'll have to go check that out. So there we go. We've managed to read his to-do list. The answer is now clerk. So we can come over here, get back to this, come to objectives, put in clerk. And that unlocks the narrative. this was a neat challenge. The bypass is kind of I don't know if that's super realistic that we're gonna see it, but it's not crazy that you'd run into a place where the session gets set funky like that in a test, especially in a test app. And then the SQL injection without commas was really actually pretty interesting. I don't know that that implementation is something you're gonna see in the wild where an API takes a comma separated list, but that could happen. And more likely, I think the article we found was talking about a WAF catching the web application firewall, catching the commas and blocking those requests. So that's a pretty neat injection. I've not seen that before. So we might do that again. With that, thanks so much for sticking around to the end, and we'll talk to you next time.